Hey, this is Stuart from Tips for HQ, and I've been asked by Odds Market to take a look at the Bundesliga futures betting market for the 2017-18 season. Thanks, of course, to Bet365 for sponsoring this video, and I have written an article over on the Odds Market site that you can take a look at where I go a little bit more into detail with my selections. So if we're going to look at straight betting for who's going to win the Bundesliga next season, I think there's one bet and one bet only, and that's Bayern Munich. The odds are rubbish though. You can get 1.14 with Bet365 and others on that. I don't think you want to tie your money up for that long, do you? It's really not worth a risk betting on anyone else though, because Bayern Munich are the class side of the Bundesliga, and you should be looking elsewhere. And that elsewhere is the Bundesliga without Bayern Munich market. That's a bit more interesting, and I think there's about 4 teams we should be looking at in this one. So the first one of those is Bayer Leverkusen. Now, Bayer Leverkusen, they didn't do too well last season, but on the other side, they've got some really good players. You've got Chicharito up front, Javier Hernandez, Bellarabi, Brandt, Çalhanoğlu. Then you've got Julian Baumgartner in midfield, Jonathan Tah at the back, and the odds of around 8. This is not a bad outside bet. I have to say, I think this is only up that high because of what's happened last season. With a new coach, as they have, things should be looking a bit better. I'm not sure they'll be good enough, but they'll be there or thereabouts. Up next is Hoffenheim, and you can get them in the market at around 7.5. They've got the youngest manager, Julian Nagelsmann, 29 years old. Makes me feel old, I have to say. And they've sold a couple of players, or got rid of a couple of players. Nicolas Süle's gone, Sebastian Rudy, both of those have gone to Bayern Munich. And they're having to spend some money to bring players in. And so far, they're investing in youth. Players like Justin Hugmer, who's arrived, he's 19 years old. Personally, I think you need a bit more now, so a bit more understanding and experience of what's going on around you if you actually want to win the title or even come in second. And for that reason, I'm ruling Hoffenheim out. Then we go to RB Leipzig, who finished last season in second place. And the bookies currently have them tipped for around third, and that's around 4.33. This isn't actually too bad because this is a side that seems to know what they're doing. They've built steadily and well over the last couple of seasons, and last season, second place, really showed that they know how to compete. They've made a signing, well, one major signing and a few smaller ones as well, but they've signed Bruma from Galatasaray. And he's a player that should fit really well because he's fast, he's really quick, technically he's got good feet, and he seems to understand the game going on around him. And that's the kind of player that RB Leipzig have been looking for. With a settled squad, I think they can probably overcome the extra games that the Champions League is likely to throw up, because I think they will be concentrating on the league themselves. And at 4.33, I actually think there's some value here, and they are my selection to come top of the Bundesliga without Bayern Munich market. Then you've got Borussia Dortmund. They're the bookies' favourites for this one, and I'm unsure, I have to say. They've got a new manager who has never got any experience of the Bundesliga before. He did very well at Ajax, I have to say, and the club before that. But let's be fair, this is a club that's going through a transitional period. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang hasn't actually gone to PSG because that deal looks like it's fallen through, but it could still happen. We could still see him end up in Paris, or he could end up at one of the big Premier League clubs because there's certainly a few of those that are looking for a decent goal scorer. And then, of course, Ousmane Dembele. I have to say, I love this guy. I think he's a brilliant, brilliant player. And they slapped a £95 million price tag on his head. And I think some club is going to come in and match that this summer. I think he'll be off. They signed Maximilian Philippe for about 30 million euros. And while he's a good striker, I don't think he's 30 million euros worth of good striker. And I certainly don't think he's good enough to fill Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's boots. So for me, I think this side is not priced correctly. So I would stay away from that one. 1.83 is about the same kind of odds you can get with the bookies right now, but one to avoid for me. As I said, I think I'm looking at Bayern Munich to win, but I'm not going to leave my money in the market that long, so I'm certainly not betting on them. And in the Bundesliga without Bayern Munich, I'm going for RB Leipzig. So those are my selections. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And of course, head on over to Odds Market so that you can read my article and let us know what you think. Bye, guys.